He went live with no warning, no filter, just a blank stare and words that sounded like regret. Justin Bieber, shirtless and shaky, said things he couldn't take back. Fans were shocked. Not just by how he looked, but by what he was feeling. "I'm sick and tired of hurting you, baby." Was that a lyric or a confession? The timing was impossible to ignore. Just days earlier, Selena Gomez had released a new song that felt pointed, paired with a new engagement and her fiancé, Benny Blanco. Everything was trending. Then Justin appeared on camera, visibly broken. Was it shade, heartbreak, or something deeper? This wasn't just a breakdown. It was a message Selena hadn't asked for, and what followed became historic. On March 29th, 2025, Justin went live on Instagram, and it was immediately clear something was wrong. This wasn't a planned performance or a carefully curated moment. It felt like a public unraveling. Shirtless, thin, and dazed, he appeared in a dim, cave-like room that immediately unsettled viewers. Over 6,000 people tuned in as the pop star stumbled through a session that felt raw, chaotic, and heartbreakingly human. What began as mumbling quickly turned heavier. He played rough demos, unreleased songs that weren't just music, but confessions. Lyrics like, "I'm tired of pretending I'm okay and this ain't peace, it's punishment," flooded the stream, sending fans into a frenzy. Screenshots, recordings, and comment threads exploded with speculation. Was this about Selena? Was this the breaking point? Then Justin said something that made everyone pause. He admitted that playing the songs triggered anxiety. It wasn't just the music. It was the emotions behind it. By the end of the stream, viewers saw his energy collapse, his lips tighten, a moment body language experts later identified as deep inner turmoil. This wasn't a stunt. This was a man unraveling in front of the world. Fans, critics, and even therapists watched as it unfolded. The internet erupted immediately after the stream ended. People weren't just reacting, they were analyzing, theorizing, spiraling. Some thought he was throwing shade at Selena's engagement. Others felt it revealed something more profound. The timing made it impossible to ignore. Just days before Justin's meltdown, Selena had released a track with Benny Blanco. Fans quickly labeled it a lyrical missile aimed at Justin. The song "How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten" wasn't subtle. Lines like "You walked in, big ass grin, talking like we're friends," sent fans hunting for hidden messages. Stan Twitter lit up with speculation that Selena had officially closed the Selena chapter, while Justin, whether intentionally or not, had reopened it live. The connection between her song and his breakdown seemed too direct to be a coincidence. Selena denied the song was about anyone in particular, but the internet wasn't buying it. Fans analyzed the lyrics, the tone, the energy, and concluded it screamed unresolved history. For Justin, that history was public. Selena's engagement represented her final chapter, while Justin's Instagram Live showed he hadn't moved on. The theories didn't stop at the song. Fans noticed patterns between Selena's glow-up and Justin's emotional slide. Her engagement to Benny Blanco in December 2024 had been widely seen as a symbolic victory. Then, following it with a breakup anthem with pointed lyrics, the internet questioned whether Justin was cracking under the pressure. Just 8 days after the song dropped, he posted a Lord of the Rings meme about girls on social media when they get engaged. At first glance, it seemed harmless. In context, it felt like shade. Fans immediately linked it to Selena's viral ring reveal, reading it as evidence that he was still hung up on her. Every action, from the live stream to the meme, appeared to align with the emotional undertone of Selena's release. Timing, energy, and unspoken tension created a clear narrative. Fans interpreted it as Selena moving forward, while Justin spiraled backward. Whether intentional or not, his online breadcrumbs made it impossible not to read into everything he did. The deeper people dug, the messier it got. This wasn't just an ex reacting to someone's healing, it was emotional whiplash from a love story that never fully healed. Justin and Selena weren't just celebrity exes. They were a cultural blueprint for a generation of fans who watched their relationship like a real-time soap opera. From Disney Channel beginnings to repeated breakups, the emotional impact was part of their story. Justin acknowledged it. In a 2020 Apple Music interview, he admitted his time with Selena left him reckless and unforgiving. He said he wasn't emotionally ready to love anyone properly until years later. Selena, too, was open about her truth. In a 2020 NPR interview, she described their relationship as emotionally abusive and said it took years to recover. Her honesty emphasized that her 5-year gap before dating again wasn't a rebound. It was genuine healing. So when Selena sings about being forgotten, the internet doesn't just listen, they feel it. Her recovery wasn't just lyrical, it was lived. In her 2022 Apple TV Plus documentary, My Mind and Me, she described the breakup as both the worst heartbreak and paradoxically the best thing that happened to her. That duality, grief and growth, made fans rally behind her. She wasn't just moving on with a new man, she was rebuilding herself brick by brick. By 2025, Selena openly discussed her past relationships with Jay Shetty, explaining that her emotional reactions and instability were why she paused dating for 5 years. She knew she wasn't ready to give love properly and refused to repeat patterns of the past. That self-awareness contrasted sharply with Justin's visible struggles. One was visibly working through past trauma, the other seemed trapped in it. Fans noticed. Selena had found peace, While Justin posted memes, played sad demos, and broke down live, she moved forward. He stayed in rewind, and the world watched every moment. It became clear that Justin hadn't fully moved on. Days after his emotional livestream on April 3rd, 2025, he posted another cryptic meme. This one, from Lord of the Rings, read, "Girls on social media when they get engaged. Alone?" It might have seemed like a joke, but stacked with his previous actions, it felt like a bitter echo of someone stuck in the past. Fans quickly connected the dots, posting comments like, "Why now?" and "This man is deep in his feelings." Even professionals began analyzing it, seeing the cracks and the emotional tension. Mental health professionals, including a psychotherapist from Manhattan and a surgeon in North Carolina, told the Daily Mail they were worried about Justin's appearance and emotional state. His gaunt look and anxious energy weren't just tabloid fodder. They were serious warning signs. Given his past health struggles, like Lyme disease, Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, and previous Xanax addiction, his emotional spiral felt more alarming. This wasn't just heartbreak anymore. It was about his overall well-being. A man who spent his youth constantly in the spotlight might now be quietly breaking under that pressure. Of course, Justin's team tried to spin it differently. A representative told Radar Online that he was in one of the best periods of his life, focusing on family, fatherhood with baby Jack, and making new music. But fans didn't buy it. The timing seemed off, the tone felt forced. After seeing him anxious and shaky on Instagram Live, a statement painting him as a happy, carefree dad felt hollow. To fans, it wasn't reassurance, it was deflection. The disconnect made it clear that something deeper was happening behind the scenes, something the public wasn't being told. Meanwhile, the engagement that seemed to spark all this drama, Selena and Benny Blanco's December 2024 announcement, remained front and center in the narrative. What should have been a joyful moment turned into a psychological trigger. It wasn't just that Selena was engaged, it was that she was engaged to someone Justin once considered a close friend. That detail cut deep. It wasn't merely a breakup, it felt like betrayal layered over nostalgia. Benny had been part of Justin's inner circle, someone who had supported him and seen him at his lowest. Now he was holding the ring. For Justin, this wasn't just a headline, it was a personal blow. Sources said Justin was initially stunned, not angry, but speechless. The silence itself spoke volumes. Benny knew Justin's history with Selena, had been there for some of his darkest moments, and now he was with the girl Justin once couldn't let go of. It wasn't just closure. It was a collision with every old ghost he thought he had buried. The fallout was visible. Friends described Justin as distant, restless, and tense. He went from low-key married life to something darker. Unfollowing Benny on social media was noticed immediately. A digital door slammed shut, signaling the friendship was over. For fans, it confirmed what they suspected. This engagement wasn't just reopening old wounds, it was deepening them. Selena had moved on. Benny had leveled up. Justin was left trying to navigate his own emotions while watching from the sidelines. People he trusted most were building a future without him. As the emotional weight grew, reports surfaced about sleepless nights and mood swings, described by insiders as manic energy. According to those close to him, everything traced back to Selena's engagement. One source said it stung, not because Justin didn't want her to be happy, but because her happiness marked something final. True closure. For years, he had lived in the shadow of a relationship the world wouldn't forget. Now, Selena wasn't just moving on, she was thriving. And that kind of hurt is hard to shake. Fans began connecting the dots between Justin's livestream cryptic posts and emotional lyrics with Selena's resurgence. Every meme, every song snippet, every post during her album promotion seemed like a response to her success and engagement. It created the impression of a man unraveling publicly, while trying to maintain private control. For fans, the contrast between Justin's chaos and Selena's calm made one thing clear. This wasn't just drama, it was grief. Raw, unprocessed, and spilling into every corner of his online life. This grief wasn't happening in isolation. Justin wasn't just mourning a relationship. He was battling a public that refused to let him move on. The obsession with Selena had never really faded. Every post, every lyric, every moment of vulnerability was immediately tied back to Selena. Whether intentional or not, the emotional aftermath was real. Even as he tried to move forward, comparisons, relentless shipping, and endless headlines dragged him back to 2012. It's one thing to feel haunted by the past. It's another when millions of people keep summoning that ghost for you. That's why this situation felt different. Justin wasn't only reacting to Selena, he was reacting to the world's refusal to let go of their history. Fans, media, and even Selena's audience had turned a closed chapter into a revolving door. In that space, heartbreak and humiliation blurred. This wasn't just one man's emotional spiral. It was the fallout of living your most private pain publicly, never being allowed to fully heal. The fan response split into two camps. One side was genuinely concerned. People who had grown up with Justin saw the livestream and didn't see drama. They saw danger. Social media flooded with comments like, "He's not okay," and "We can see where this is headed, and it's so sad." These weren't trolls. They were people who felt personally connected to his story. To them, this wasn't content, it was a crisis. They weren't watching a pop star. They were watching someone they cared about fall apart. The other side of the internet reacted with chaos and cynicism. Critics and meme makers mocked the live stream, calling it performative and immature. Tweets like, "You're a married dad and still spiraling over your ex," circulated, alongside viral jokes suggesting that baby's first word will be Selena Gomez. Celebrity culture often treats breakdowns as entertainment, not crises. For Justin, that ridicule layered on top of real anxiety became another source of pain. The ridicule didn't stay online. It started spilling into real life. Rumors turned into headlines. Speculation became theory videos. Suddenly, the focus wasn't just Justin and Selena. It was Justin and Hailey. Fans questioned the state of his marriage, wondering if Hailey was seeing the same live streams, reading the same lyrics, noticing the same unraveling. Some comments went viral. "I see why Hailey's always on edge. Her man's still in 2016 mentally." Others said Justin was dragging his past into the present, creating emotional chaos Hailey never signed up for. TikTok followed, dissecting her body language, social media likes, or absence from appearances. Every small detail was read as evidence of a fracture. Some claimed that Justin's obsession with Selena dominated every conversation in the house, from morning until night. The drama wasn't just personal anymore. It had become parasitic, feeding off itself on social media. Whether or not the claims were true didn't matter. The narrative had taken over. Hailey wasn't just Justin's wife in the public eye. She had been turned into a character in a love triangle the internet refused to let die. As the online chaos grew, so did the memes. Posts joking about the baby's first words being Selena Gomez or claiming karma wears rare beauty spread like wildfire. Fans weren't just reacting. They were weaponizing humor to process what felt like a public unraveling. But beneath the laughs was a darker reality. People weren't laughing with Justin and Hailey. They were laughing at them. Nuance was gone. Every post, every lyric, every moment became a viral moment, a punchline, or a conspiracy waiting for TikTok. Those theories got wilder. Some fans linked Justin's behavior to larger Hollywood scandals, dragging in names like Diddy and painting him as a pawn in a bigger game. Sure, the claims were far-fetched, but in the age of digital paranoia, speculation spreads faster than fact. Meanwhile, Hailey was left in the hardest position. The other woman in a story that ended years ago but refused to rest. Rumors of trouble in her marriage weren't whispers anymore. They were headlines. Reports circulated that Hailey had briefly unfollowed Justin on Instagram, then followed him back hours later, and dismissed it as a glitch, but others read it as a silent cry. Insiders suggested she was exhausted, frustrated by Justin's inability to let go of the past. Then came a plot twist. Whispers that Justin was considering leaving the US entirely. True or not, the speculation ignited the internet. Fans and gossip outlets spun it into a narrative where Justin wasn't just stuck in the past. He was trying to escape the present. Comparisons piled on. Hailey's every move, from interviews to outfits to social media activity, was measured against Selena. It became an impossible game, one no one could win. Hailey tried to set the record straight. In a resurfaced 2022 podcast, she said, "I was never with him while he was with her. I would never do that." Calm and measured, she emphasized respect for Selena and her own boundaries, but it didn't matter. The internet had already chosen a villain, and Hailey, married to the man Selena once loved, was it. The harassment she endured from Selena's fans was well documented. She begged people not to tear women down, but online empathy had no audience. Every action Hailey took was scrutinized. Liking a TikTok? Shade. Looking distant at an event? Proof. Posting a meme? Cryptic message. Even when her team denied any wrongdoing, no one listened. Truth no longer mattered. Hailey wasn't just a woman navigating marriage under pressure. She had become the internet's chosen antagonist in a saga that refused to die. Then came the darkest twist, the obsession with rewriting the past. A viral TikTok docuseries suggested Hailey had been planning to marry Justin for years. Clips from 2009 resurfaced, implying her father, actor Stephen Baldwin, orchestrated their meeting. Theories spiraled, tracking Justin's whereabouts, booking nearby hotels, showing up at the same restaurants, all to stay in his orbit. Some even claimed she had copied Selena's style, from tattoos to cooking shows. Whether coincidence, inspiration, or fabrication, it didn't matter. The story was addictive. Hailey wasn't just a second wife in this retelling. She was painted as the architect of the ending. Fans dissected everything, interpreting coincidences as evidence. Hailey's rapid engagement to Justin in 2018, just months after his final breakup with Selena, was seen as the final move in a decade-long pursuit. Even attempts to humanize herself were twisted. Statements about wanting peace became calculated PR moves. Her silence became guilt. When she spoke about respect or boundaries, few paid attention. The narrative had swallowed her. Once a magazine cover figure beside Justin, she was now cast as the shadow behind him. Every recycled image, quote, or viral theory turned her life into a web of suspicion. This wasn't fandom anymore. It was folklore. Fast forward to now, and the story of Justin, Selena, and Hailey has taken on a life of its own. Fans, media, and social posts constantly reshape it, time hasn't dulled the fascination. People keep asking, who really won? Selena, thriving in her healing era with a surprising engagement? Hailey married to Justin but caught in chaos? Or maybe no one, because being loved by millions comes with a cost. You never fully escape your past. At the heart of it is something more haunting than rumors. Fame doesn't protect you from pain. You can grow, move on, fall in love again, and still be haunted by the parts of yourself you shared with someone else. Justin's breakdown wasn't just headlines, it was recognition. Everyone watching could see a bit of themselves. The part that still flinches at a name, smiles in public while spiraling privately, wonders if closure is real or just a story we tell ourselves to sleep at night. The Selena story stays alive, not because it was iconic, but because it remains unfinished. It isn't just about who dated who unfollowed whom, or what happened in a live stream. It's about heartbreak, both public and private. About growing up in front of cameras while dragging your past like a shadow. It's about Justin, once pop's golden boy, cracking under the weight of a love that never truly ended. About Selena, rising from the ashes of the same love, refusing to play the victim, finally finding peace. And about Hailey, caught in a legacy she never asked for, yet cannot escape. This isn't just celebrity drama, it's emotional residue. Trauma dressed as trend. It's what happens when millions of strangers feel entitled to tell your love story long after you've stopped. Maybe that's why this triangle refuses to fade. In some ways, it reflects all of us. The parts that still check old profiles, wonder what if, and carry unfinished endings. Justin's breakdown wasn't just his, it was ours. Proof that even the most famous hearts can break quietly on camera, while the world watches. And perhaps the real question isn't what happened to Selena, but why we can't let it go.